Alright, this is a battle I had today on ladder. It's a stallfest, so I figured it would be a perfect game to explain while letting it play, but pausing on important turns. I'm the water player, of course, and the format is monotype, where all Pokemon on a team must share type. Let's go. So immediately what you're going to notice is this Ogerpon, that is their win condition to sweep me. But they're going to spend most of their turns using Heatron, since Heatron has reliable recovery with leftovers, and I can't do much, given the taunt and protect combo. It immediately burned my Alumamola with Flame Body when I flip turned on the Heatron, which is something I'll be doing repeatedly. So it's not really a surprise to me that the 30% chance to activate happened. It was going to happen at one point or another, be it through that or through Talonflame, which likely has Will-O-Wisp. So they almost killed my Alumamola there, but Alumamola has many ways to be fine. Alright, and they already have that Ogerpon out, but I anticipated it, so I used Yawn. Yawn is a move that will sleep them in 2 turns, but for some reason they allowed their Ogerpon to be slept. The likely reason for that is that they can just wait out the sleep turns, and perhaps they don't want some other mon to be slept, like Talonflame, for instance. And they can also wait and just, access their sleep turn when I have my Gastrodon out, because my Gastrodon is always going to switch out to be safe. If I use Earth Power, it'll only damage Ogerpon for 25%, but if Ogerpon wakes up and uses Horn Leech, my Gastrodon is dead, which gives them an opportunity to get the 3 turns of sleep eventually. So they have revealed Defog on the Talonflame, but Talonflame is always leaving opportunities to be hit by my Alumamola. Okay, extremely important turn here. So I was calcing this and recognizing that Steam Eruption is going to do around 89 maximum, which is not going to kill my Greninja. Obviously, Greninja's living by a hair, which is usually something I'm okay with, because when Alumamola uses Wish and Flip Turn, it heals based on 50% of Alumamola's health, not 50% flat. And fortunately, 50% of Alumamola's health is all of Greninja's health. So I figured it would be okay. However, what I didn't account for is the burn. So now my Greninja is in extreme danger. So I won't be able to use that Greninja for much of the match. Reason for that is that they are going to switch to Volcanion every time my Alumamola is in, meaning that I cannot flip turn because the Water Absorb will absorb my flip turn. So the only way I could heal my Greninja is either have them not switch into Volcanion for some fucking reason, which won't happen, or get a raw read, which is incredibly risky, given the 6% health on Greninja dying to literally anything, especially Talonflame U-turn, which is their most common pivot move every time they're switching. So I thought I could kill the Volcanion here, but I soon learned that that Volcanion is Assault Vest, hence why a +2 Flash Cannon only did 10%. Okay, so they're down to 13%, but that's not really a concern for them so much, because of the fact that Alumamola is likely going to hit Volcanion at some point, because, free switch in and flip turn is so valuable to me. Scald is so valuable to me that I will be misusing it at some point across this 200 plus turn game. So them running out of Magma Storms, being at 3 at this point, is significant. When they run out of Magma Storms, I can do things like abuse Empoleon, or abuse Gastrodon, or abuse Toxapex, since they can no longer be trapped. Which is significant because if Toxapex gets trapped, he fucking dies, and the other ones don't have as reliable recovery as Alumamola does because of Regenerator. Another fortunate thing for myself in this scenario is that Talonflame has less defogs than I have in both Toxic Spikes and Spikes on Gastrodon and Stealth Rocks on Empoleon, but it's harder for Empoleon to stay living. So they keep using Will-O-Wisp, but it will not be if I'm going to switch to Alumamola every time, so it's not going to do much. Oh shit. Wait, why the fuck did I switch to Gastrodon there? Oh, we switched at the same time. Okay, that makes much more sense. So the only 2 mons that are relatively safe against Ogerpon are Empoleon and Toxapex, because they're the only ones that take Horn Leech neutrally. And good thing there is that Toxapex can toxic the Lil Bandit, and Empoleon can use Roar, which always gets people on the first try because they're assuming I'm like knockoff or something, so they sword stance in my face. Very reliable, but it won't work a second time. They'll likely just Horn Leech the second time because they know I don't have Surf. As a result, I'm going to be switching to Toxapex every time Ogerpon is out because it's the best way to check it. Alright, using U-turn. Flippin' Volcanion. I'm getting pretty low on wishes at this point, down to 12, which is significant. Damn. Okay, yeah, so that Empoleon's getting pretty low, but I figured it would be worth it because of the Stealth Rocks. The Stealth Rocks are especially effective against this team because the Volcanion is Assault Vest. It's gonna fuck them up, G. God damn it, I mistimed that. I probably could have flip turned there and saved Greninja, but it's too late, I suppose. I also can't just flip turn into Greninja the regular way without even healing him because he will immediately die to the burn if it's not a wish flip turn swap in. But that's not feasible for me because their Heatron will taunt my Alomomola, which likely prevents wish, and when they don't even do that and I somehow get my wish off, they will use Protect or Earth Power, which is a 50-50, both of which will either prevent me from switching to my Greninja or kill the Greninja. It's not something I should risk. So, thus, I'm waiting out to stall out the Heatron. Heatron is currently at 1, which is super significant. Next Magma Storm they use is meaning that I can have almost anything against Heatron in. They're also running low on Earth Power, relatively speaking, but they are abundant in taunts. Okay, so normally in the chat I said Money Shot. That's not popping up. But why I said Money Shot is... this Empoleon, if it... Fuck, dude. So I had Toxic Spikes up, and Roar swaps to any Mon. So it had a 2 out of 5 chance to poison extremely important Mons that would make me very close to winning the game. That being Volcanion and Lil Bandit, neither of which have boots. But I missed that, so now my Empoleon is nearly dead. But, I don't know. Gotta go for that shit sometimes. There actually is a notable benefit to having my Empoleon at 6% health, and I didn't consider this at the time, but you see, when Ogerpon is both toxic and going for a Horn Leech sweep, what you want to do is let them recover the least possible from Horn Leech. So what that's going to look like is swapping to your Mons that have the least HP, because if you swap to, say, Alomomola or Dondozo, they're going to recover basically to full fucking health. But if I would switch to Greninja while they're Horn Leech sweeping me, they would gain literally nothing. That is foreshadowing. Why? I'm wasting my fucking wishes. God damn, what a fucking idiot. This backs SD9 fraud person. Top 30 on ladder? Fucking hell. Okay. So, that was an extremely risky maneuver by me there, switching to Toxapex. If they used Magma Storm, I was dead. But I figured they wouldn't because it didn't really make much sense to use Magma Storm there. I didn't gain much benefit of that. It was just a fucking swag move. I guess I was trying to bait them into using Magma Storm again. But, I don't know. Risky son of a B word. Especially because if my Toxapex dies, I straight up lose this game. I can't do anything. So that flip turn there, that was a call out of their sword stance. I knew for a fact that Horn Leech isn't going to OHKO my Alomomola. If I recall correctly, it'll do around 70% to my specially defensive Alomomola. And if that was the case, I would still be flip turning into Toxapex, who's at 100, and they would be likely forced to switch out because they do not want that heat. They do not want that smoke of being toxic. As you can see, yeah, that's what they did. They were at 47 and they didn't want to be toxic at that percent. Even though Horn Leech would have been a 2-hit KO against Toxapex. They just don't want to be put on a timer, reasonably so. Alright, still using spikes, just trying to stall out the fucking Talonflame, who's at 14 out of 24, which is significant, with the rate at which I am setting up hazards being... What the fuck did I just wish into Dozo? I don't know, that was bold of me. Alright, so they sent out Ogre Pawn, thinking that Hornleech is going to do some shit, and it did. Hornleech there, it's bringing them back up gradually. However, there's a concern with them doing that with Hornleech. That being that they're at 12, and if they're at like 5 when they're trying to sweep me, then it will likely fail if I can stall out their Hornleech PP by 1, sacking my Pokemon, and 2, using Protect as a Limit. See, they continue to do it. And I suppose that does make sense from a theoretical level, that you want your Hornleech to get you back to 100%, but still dangerous business. Alright, still failing to fucking save my Greninja. Saving my Greninja is pretty much all that was on my mind at this point, besides, of course, setting up hazards and gradually chipping away at the Talonflame and PP stalling Heatran. I guess I was thinking about a lot of things. So I don't know why I said that. I also wanted to PP stall Volcanion, since Volcanion is fucking scary. But very low PP on Steam Eruption, and my Dozo can pretty much tank anything they have. That is an Encore Skeledirge. They seldom use Skeledirge in this match. I think that was the first time Skeledirge got sent out, and Cinderace hasn't got sent out in the first place. Oh no, it wasn't. So their Skeledirge, it doesn't really do much, because it doesn't have Will-O-Wisp or anything that can affect Toxapex, and they know I can just Toxic their Skeledirge and then switch to Dondozo, and they cannot do a thing. It will just be a slow death timer. So that's going to be useless in this match. In the same way that Cinderace will be, unless I have several Mons at low health. Fuck, my voice hurts. Speaking too goddamn fast and frequent. Alright, fuck it, we ball though. It's only like 100 plus turns left. So I fucked up there, used Flip Turn in front of the Volcanions. The Volcanions back to 63. That's only significant in the fact that it'll just like be one less Pokemon for them, one less Pokemon to deal with for me. Okay, they used Hornleech again. They're now down to 10 Hornleeches, which basically means if they go for a sweep, they need to get it first try, because if they have to switch out, they won't get it the second time. Okay, the Citron is spamming Earth Power for some goddamn reason. They are out of their Magma Storms. They Magma Stormed my Alomomola there, and now I know for a fact I can just switch between Toxapex, Alomomola, and Gastrodon when Heatran is out, because they cannot significantly affect me. Even Toxapex doesn't take that much from Earth Power, it can just be recovered back. 4 Earth Powers likely doesn't even fucking kill Alomomola or Gastrodon. And that's just extremely good for me, because that's just fodder for me to set up my hazards with Gastrodon and Toxapex. That is me doing it right there. So what I've been actually risking at this point, which is likely a mistake, is when Gastrodon is out, the only things I can do to affect Talonflame are, 1, use Spikes again, which is not the most effective since they're already out there to defog. However, they're at 10 defog, so that would be decent. And I can also Yawn, which is likely going to force them to switch unless they want to be greedy and use Will-O-Wisp. However, what I'm risking here is when they're using defog, they can just use Will-O-Wisp. And that'll be significant, because it means when I switch into Gastrodon, when that motherfucking Heatran is out, I am always getting chipped because of that burn. And they did it there because I was greedy as fuck and used Yawn for some reason. But that was just like my mistakes adding up there. Because can't play perfect over 160 turns until I do. So I was just using Chilling Water just to waste turns, but unfortunately that hits Volcanion. But that doesn't really matter that much, because my Dozo is very efficient at taking care of Volcanion, as well as my Alomomola, since my Alomomola is already burned and thus not very scared of Steam Eruption. Skeledirge isn't the most effective against Toxapex ever unless they're a Hex set. But their team's kind of unconventional. Usually people only have Cinderace or Talonflame because they're both hazard removers. Also, not a lot of people run Skeldurge nowadays at all. But of course, Heatron and Ogerpon, those are fucking staples. Okay. Heatron only has 10 taunt left, 10 protect left, 4 earth power. Once they run out of those, I will use my Lomomola to pivot into Greninja. But there's a question of, are they going to let that happen, or are they going to use their Ogerpon first to go for the sweep? I suspect they would go for the sweep first, because they might know of the fact that I'm trying desperately to heal my Greninja, and I'm just waiting until that Heatron gets chipped away to where I can do that. Because once I can do that, I can send Greninja in when my toxic spikes are up. And if I use Hydro Pump, one of their mons is likely going to die. They can send in Volcanion and ensure that mon doesn't die. However, the Volcanion is then poisoned, which is massive for me because they have no way of recovering besides Water Absorb guessing. And of course, Talonflame would instantly die. But yeah, I'm using Chilling Water there. I'm very giddy to use Chilling Water as Toxapex when Toxic Spikes are up because of the fact that they can't send in their Volcanion. It's always going to chip them. It's always going to use a turn, waste one more turn of Heatron being out, make it that much closer. So I'm switching out to Lomomola every time the Talonflame is in there. Even though I can Toxic the Talonflame, I kind of want to avoid being Will-O-Wisp at all costs. Okay, so this is dangerous. The Ogerpon is out here. I have to switch back in. So they're going for a sword stance there, but they switched out. They were too cowardly. I guess it makes sense, though, because they didn't really lose anything from that scenario. It's not like I earth-powered them. Oh, shit, they're sending that motherfucker in again. I don't know why. I guess they thought I would do some weird option. I guess it makes sense, though. I guess it is scaring me pretty effectively when they're doing that. I don't know what I was going for with that fucking yawn. The problem with me using random yawns is I might sleep a mon that I don't want to sleep, that's insignificant. And then at which point I cannot use yawn on the Pokemon that I want to sleep, such as Talonflame or Ogerpon, or at least threaten to sleep. So an example of that would be sending in Skeldurge to get slept. Alright, still chipping the Talonflame. The Talonflame is getting really weak right now. Only 10 U-turns, 8 Defogs, and 4 Roosts. Alright, so I'm using Flip Turn here. What am I going for? I'm going for Gastrodon. I'm going to use Spikes likely. But they're going into Ogerpon. I should have saw that coming. Oh, I did see that coming. Never mind. I don't fucking remember everything. So they're down to 32. Now, they have a choice of, if they want to heal themselves back up to full health before they go for a sweep, they're going to have to use a substantial amount of Hornleech PP. Alright, they caught me going in on going... Okay, shit. Yeah, so they keep doing it. They are down to 7, and they know that. But that's kind of a dangerous percent, because if Ogerpon starts their sweep at 59%, they are not going to win the game. That is not nearly enough to take out Toxapex when the Toxapex is constantly threatening them with Toxic and Chilling Water every time they're not attacking the Toxapex. Okay, Earth Power. High Jump Kick. So the only thing I was really fucking scared of there was them using Pyro Ball, praying I would switch into Toxapex, and then burning the Toxapex. But I found that exceedingly unlikely. I didn't think they would be thinking of that. Just because not a lot of people, like especially 220 turns in, try and play the lottery, like at all, aside from if they have flinch moves or something that is really hopeful. Alright, let's look at the Heatron right now. Heatron is down to only 1 taunt left and 2 Earth Powers left. That's massive for me. Oh shit. Oh shit. I finally got the wish off, but I decided to send in Empoleon. Main reason I did that is to set up Stealth Rocks regularly. Especially, they only have 7 Defogs left. And once I get that up, that is massive. That'll chip the Ogerpon for 12% every time, and that is some smoke they do not want. Let's use that opportunity to recover. I assume they're going to Ogerpon here, and they do. I was greedy and used Spikes, even though I should have Earth-powered, knowing full well that the The bro is coming in. Oh shit, I'm in danger now because he used Sword Stance and then Horn Leech. So as you can see, that did 57%. My Toxapex, if that gets hit again, my Toxapex is fucked. I am gone, dog. However, if they do that, they will be at 5 Horn Leech PP, and I can send in my Greninja to revenge kill since they're faster. And I can either do that and threaten them and then switch out and save my Greninja, or use Dark Pulse or something that'll kill and basically suicide bomb to stall out the Ogerpon. And that is what I do. I switch to Greninja, and as I said earlier, it took me a lot of thinking, but as I said earlier, they're recovering fucking nothing from that. And the toxic timer is only going to get higher. They're only going to gradually take more. And I know that. So I switched my Toxapex and I used Chilling Water. Probably should have used Recover there, but fuck Weavile. So I switched to Dondozo because I know Dondozo can take a hit from a +1 Ogerpon, and I know my Toxapex can take one more hit. Now you're going to want to notice, they have only one Horn Leech left after they killed my Empoleon. So that's one Shoddy in the tank. That is only able to kill one of my Pokemon. Granted, it was a guaranteed kill, but after they use that Horn Leech, they have almost no way of killing my Toxapex, or especially my Dondozo. Alright, so Talonflame's at 28. It's kind of dangerous, so of course they are going to use Roost to get that back up. I don't know why I used... Oh, okay, I used Wish to heal my Dondozo, which I guess makes sense. If I want to stall out the Ogerpon a little bit more, take one hit from the Ogerpon that couldn't be taken by Toxapex. So they're switching around between Skeledirge and Heatran, which is smart because it'll waste my Toxic PP, which I would like to reserve for Talonflame and Volcanion, but of course it's not the most significant since Ogerpon, my main threat, is gone. And they realize that. They realize they're kind of fucked right here with no Ogerpon. So what do? They send him out in one last desperate attempt, use that Horn Leech, and they realize, oh shit, I'm at 72 Toxic. I can't do anything here, so they forfeit and I win. Alright, see y'all. I got a big project coming up. It's going to be a 1 hour plus video, tangentially connected to Pokemon Showdown. If you like that, like and subscribe.
I got it! 警告のマスターどうしたの